certainly an American version of The Little Princess could have been set in during the Civil War as well, but there's maybe something that the director liked about the costumes and the sets of the early 20th century rather than the middle of the 18th century. I don't know whether I've covered the content that you want me to cover.
I think you have. I think this has been a really fantastic, fruitful discussion about lots of elements, including historical aspects of children's film and adaptations of children's literature into film, talking about some of the ways that the children's literature translates into film in some ways, shapes, or forms, talking about how film and literature are two separate mediums.
Oh, absolutely.
That don't, you just can't do something exactly the same way, and I think that's something really important to remember.
We haven't even talked about television yet.
We haven't talked about television, which has different...
Beyond the scope.
Yeah, it's beyond the scope of this unit, but it's definitely something to think about as you continue to notice this stuff in pop culture around you. And so, do you have any closing thoughts?
Well, we also really didn't touch too much on the silent era and the early talkies, because there was quite a bit of this older content that was converted or film.
Yeah.
Because when movies came about, there was a need for content. There was, just like now for television, constantly looking for new content.
Content-driven.
Content-driven. And television is television abhors a vacuum. It's got to have. It's got to be fed, and film was like that too. And there's another thing that we haven't talked about. We've really been focusing on the works that were in my recollection and perhaps your recollection, but there's new stuff. There's great stuff happening now.
Yeah.
And you're very fond, I know, of Walden Films.
I am. I'm really fond of Walden Media, and I think they're doing some particularly interesting adaptation work, taking into mind several audiences. So you have the link to the Walden Media in your assignment to that company, and you'll see that they have adapted some classic children's works as well as some more contemporary children's works.
Some of the C.S. Lewis work?
They're doing the Narnia series is from Walden Media. Tomorrow, Ramona and Beezus opens from Beverly Cleary, which I would consider that a classic. It was written in 1955, and I'm very, very interested in seeing the film and seeing how it's updated. It stars Selena Gomez, who's the new Disney protege. And so, but I think what's interesting about Walden Media is that they're marketing not only to children for pleasure, but they're also marketing to teachers and educators and librarians as the film being a way to extend the knowledge of the literature. And so if you go on their website for any of their films, you will find teacher's guides, you'll find discussion questions, you'll find activities that can be done in the classroom, and I think that that's a really interesting way that Walden is marketing these works, because they're saying that the book is the film is the companion to the book, and they should be studied together. And so I hope that some of you do choose some of the Walden films.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, it's a really interesting spin. It's no longer about just entertainment and pleasure, but it's not really about teaching the kids a lesson. It's about a book study. It's about studying this book and enriching a child's life through the film, as well as the literature, the original work. And I think that trend's going to continue, especially as we look into standards for visual literacy, for critical thinking, for living in our world of social media. I think that's a really good angle for film companies to take. So,
I'm waiting for Second Life, the movie.
Second Life, the movie. I don't know. I'm busy enough in my first life. I can't get into Second Life. But we've talked for over an hour, so we're gonna stop now.
Well, you have to sum up. I don't know if I didn't get to mention You're Only Young Twice.
Yeah.
Which is Tim Morris's book on children's literature and film, which covers more of the more contemporary works and things like the Goosebumps series, etc. We're going to put together a list of some resources that you can go from. I hope that you will drill down into some of these other sources and look at the bibliography that's in Street's book. It's just amazing.
Good.
And I hope that some of the things that we've referenced, some of the films that we've referenced,